Welcome to the OnPar podcast from the Winners Award showroom in Coconut Creek, Florida. I'm your host, Drew D'Alberto. Got one of my favorite people of all time here, Ed Kolo from the ManUp Golf Tournament.
What's up, brother? Good to see you.
And his sidekick. He's your sidekick or you're his sidekick?
No, I
know.
go where Mikey tells
All
me.
good.
So Mike Deno is here also. You
Nice
guys
to
have
be
been doing this, and we want to talk about the golf tournament because I've been involved loosely. You guys have swindled me into being on your committee this year. Congratulations, Ed.
And we appreciate it.
We absolutely
I
appreciate
think
it.
it's going to be a blast. And, you know, my value to these things is usually opening my big mouth and grabbing some golfers. So,
Hey, it's all about the conversation. As we say, everything begins with a conversation, and usually it ends up in a tee box.
Amen. So, we're also going on a little golf trip coming up here pretty soon to Naples.
We have that coming up in a few weeks
to
Tiburon Golf and Tennis Club over in
Naples.
That will be a blast. That will be a blast.
I've not been there before, and maybe I will even get him as a client for Winners Award while we're up there.
You know, thanks to Scott Feiner. Scott is their director of IT over there, and I had the privilege of meeting Scott several years back. He did some work with us with Comcast, and there's just not a better human being. And Mikey and I went over there the day of their install, and it just you know how when you meet somebody kind of like when we met, you just kind of click, and of course nobody that comes in contact with Mikey ever dislikes the guy. So you had these personalities that just connected the minute they met, and so we've been lucky to be able to stay very close to Scott and his team over there, and he's always been very good to us and ManUp and the ManUp tournament.
It's going to be really fun.
Be a blast.
But after that, December 1st,
yes,
you've got the ManUp Golf Tournament. This is the 5th or 6th year?
I think this is the 6th year, right, Mike?
6th year. So I think it's my 4th or 5th year. I came in a little late. We didn't know each other back
right.
7 years ago when you were planning the first one.
Yeah.
But let's start with the why. Like, why do you guys put on this golf tournament? Let's talk about the good that comes out of it after the actual fun is had at the golf tournament.
So it's funny because about 11 years ago, we the men of St. Edward's Parish, where we all belong to, we started a men's conference. We noticed that on Sundays there were a lot of women. There were a lot of women with their children coming to church, but there weren't a lot of men as the head of the household joining them. And so thanks to our dear friend who passed away much too early, Vic Marrero, Vic came up with the idea of having this men's conference. And so we started 11 years ago the ManUp Conference, and it started off being a chance for guys to get together for a weekend and just bond. There was fellowship. It was faith-based, but it was also just a chance for guys to share the challenges of being good men, good husbands, good employers, good employees, good fathers. It just was a good chance for guys to be guys together. And from that it evolved. We bring in quality speakers every single year who all have a message. And so it was after a few years of doing this that Mike suggested, because of his affiliation and connection with golf tournaments and his ability to coordinate them so well, he's like, why would we ever want to turn anybody away because of a cost to this? Let's have a golf tournament which will help fund this, so that dads, and then at this point we had expanded it to their sons, so that dads and their sons can come to this conference in February and not have to worry about finances being an issue. So we started, Mike, what, about 6 years ago, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
we started the ManUp Golf Tournament in December, so that we could raise the funds to be able to cover the expenses for the conference in February. And Mikey's been the chairman of that since its conception.
And so let's talk a little bit more about the conference, because one of our good pals, Lawrence Franzoni, had described it as a full day of halftime motivational speeches. How accurate is that description?
I think it's a great quote. And Lawrence and his dad came last year, and we have had speakers like we had Jimmy Morris, who was the baseball player that the movie The Rookie was based on, and we have had Father Burke Masters, who was a a minor league baseball player, a big star at Mississippi State, but ended up becoming a priest and is now the chaplain for the Chicago Cubs. He has come in. We've had quality people, both religious and from the secular world. This year, we're excited to announce that we have two really dynamic speakers. One is a deacon in the Catholic Church. His name is Harold Shivers, who is going to be coming from the West Coast. He lives up in the northwest of I think Seattle is his home. He's phenomenal and has a tremendous following. And the other speaker is a gentleman by the name of Steve Javie. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he was the longtime NBA basketball official who, upon retirement, I think he retired in 2012, 2013. But he now is also very involved in the Catholic Church as a deacon as well. He's going to be coming and spending some time talking about, how do you connect from the secular professional athletic world to that of being a father, a son, a husband, and having some type of faith involved in your life. So we're really excited about this year's lineup. And yeah, Lawrence's quote was, it's like a weekend of nothing but halftime motivational talks. And I thought, boy, that's a great way of kind of summing it up, because everybody always has a great message, but also it's a chance to kind of experience the Lord a little bit as well.
So since the golf tournament, which will be our next focus, funds this thing, people can actually register for free. How do they register for the conference in February?
They go on to readytomanup.com.
Okay. It's the word ready, the number 2, manup.com. And on that website is everything from information on past conferences to the ability to register for both the golf tournament and the conference.
So I think I told you this already, Ed, but just for you, Mikey, I haven't been able to go to the conference yet because it always has conflicted with the daddy-daughter camp out with my daughter. But this year, you guys took pity on me and planned it on a different weekend. So I'm signed up. My son Nick is signed up, and I told you we're going to do the 3 generations. I'm going to get Pops to go too.
That is awesome.
So
that is
I'm
great.
really looking forward.
We make sure you have a skybox on the front.
That's what I'm talking about. So, and I'm sure that Dad will be participating in the golf tournament again as well. And I know Lou and Nick Chiera from Winners Award Group are going to get a foursome. So we got you at least 2 foursomes already.
That's
so
outstanding.
We're getting there.
And the other thing we have
Deno probably has like 40 foursomes already. No. So maybe 20.
Deno's got his ways.
The best thing that I've heard out of you is you and your father coming, because that's how Lawrence was with his father. And then I always say this with me is my son's. This will be his, 8th conference, and when you get to pray over your son with a group of men, there's no other feeling.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I'm sure that Nick, I know Nick's going because I'll just tell him get in the car. So that's no problem. I got to if I have to pick my dad up, he only lives 10 minutes away, so it's not that big a deal.
We'll Uber him. Don't worry about it.
No, I'll be his Uber driver. I'm already a volunteer Uber driver for my kids every Saturday for all their activities, so I'm getting pretty good at it.
Well, and the other funny thing is we've learned over doing the course of time doing this that, well, first of all, women are allowed to play in the golf tournament.
I was going to get.
We got to make sure we talk about that, because we're told we just don't make that clear enough. So yeah, it's called Man Up, but women are certainly allowed to play and invited and encouraged. The conference itself is, although it's only for men and obviously their sons if it applies, I got to tell you, one thing we've learned and noticed over the years is probably 60 to 70% of the applications are completed by the women. So it's the wives and the girlfriends and the moms and the sisters who are encouraging the men in their life to attend. The guys, for whatever reason, sometimes kicking and screaming, go, but at the end are always like, geez, thanks. This was a great experience. So women are very much involved in this because, yes, they can golf, and also most of them see to it that the men in their lives get there.
I must admit, I'm one of them.
You were one of those?
10 years ago when she said you're going to this conference, and let me tell you, it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Well, I don't know of any females in my business life and my family life that don't want their husbands to be better fathers, even though even if they think they're the greatest father in the world. We can always be better. We can always focus more on our kids and our wives and our families, right? So I don't know of any women that would not get on board with that. And we're more than happy to support, we support LEGS, Ladies Executive Golf Society, and other networking groups that are for women. So now we're just basically saying, hey, you know what? We support you guys. We want you to support us. It's one big happy family. Nice people attract other nice people. So let's all be nice to each other and hang out together.
Well, yes, and to just take it a step further, I think the family unit is so much under attack these days. I think there's just so much out there that really makes the traditional family unit that maybe Mike and I experienced growing up, where maybe you did have dinner together, or at the very least you were together more than we are today. Families today, and now being a dad of grown up girls and a grandfather, it's a treat when we all get together because everybody's got busy lives and everybody's going different ways. So if there's something that can help unite and help with the family as an entity, how can it be a bad thing?
I wholeheartedly, no, I love it. So, and I'll share one thing with you guys. I mean, I came up with a philosophy the other day by accident, and people thought I was really smart for coming up with this. Let's just say it's a friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Young lady was in nursing school, and she's having a hard time, finding the right guy.
Right.
And she was complaining about it to someone very close to me.
Okay.
And I'm sure you can figure out who it is. And I said, look, just tell her that she should hang around with people that were really close to their grandfathers that fought in World War II. And to listen to their stories and talk football or whatever other cars or whatever other subjects. And you'll get somebody that is more, let's say, of an old school, old soul, someone who really values that old school because we still do it. I mean, I eat together with my family almost every single night. But that's because that's what we did when I was a kid and growing up, and my cousins grew up down the street. So I moved back to Florida when Nick was born because I wanted him to grow up around grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles and cousins.
Perfect.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about that philosophy? I hung out with my grandfathers that fought in World War II, and that was kind of what I learned from them. And I know you guys may not have been as close as I was to your grandparents because it was a different time, and it's only a 15 or 20-year difference.
Right.
But what do you? I mean, how do you see that working out?
And we were brought up. I'm the baby of 4 boys, and the dinner was 5:00, 5:15. Guess what? You weren't there. Guess what? You weren't eating. And what can I make you? No, it was.
So you were on time.
Dinner was on the table. Oh, there's not too many times none of us were. It had to be a real good. Ball games. No, don't want to hear it. You're eating dinner. So.
Right.
Yeah, and in our case, my mom had dinner ready. My dad was on the road. He was a sales guy, and so he was still home every evening. So sometimes dinner would adjust between whether it was a late night for him or not. Now, unlike you, if ball games were affected, you always were there for the ball game. So dinner hour and such all was dependent on
what time the game started,
what times the games were.
What time's the first
pitch?
But
it had to be you were playing. It wasn't because you wanted to watch it. It didn't mean you were going to the den to watch it. You had to be playing in it. The other thing, and on Lori's side.
Well, but dinner might be peanut butter sandwiches.
It doesn't mean it was a big dinner.
On the way to basketball practice.
That's exactly right.
Now,
and Mom always, until they passed, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it was a set time, and I'm talking, the whole family.
Well, you're Italian, man. I get that.
And you look forward to that, and you miss it today. When you get older now.
I'm already counting down the days to Thanksgiving, and you guys are both welcome to come to my house if your families aren't big. I know you got probably 30 people coming to your house.
Lori, my wife Lori sees to that. I mean, dinner's always been important in her family, and that's just kind of a tradition that follows through. But just to kind of piggyback on your thought, talking about meeting good people and tying it back to the whole golf theme, you don't find many not nice people on the golf course.
I think I've played in 5 years, maybe with 5 people total that I said, you know what, not again.
That's it.
Everybody else, I've said, all right, we can invite that person again.
They're good people, and I mean, I think if we if we made a list, especially if we made a list of the people that are closest in our lives, I bet more times than not they're going to be people that we've golfed with or we've met perhaps through golf, because it is that, and we always joke kind of like that, and smoking cigars. It brings out a quality in people that's just a calming, enjoyable, nice to be around atmosphere.
I would say we've been very, very blessed because since day one when we, our first tournament, 4 or 5 of our big sponsors have been to everyone.
Yes.
There's probably, I don't want to throw the percentage out there. I'm probably going to go low, but 70% of the people have played in everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to do our job by, giving them a great course. We really, really strong on the food, so we make sure it's a 5-star dinner, and then everything else in the Lord takes care of itself.
I tell you, it's a fun day. I say at 6 Degrees when we do our little introduction, from about September 1st on, I talk about if you're only going to play in a couple charity tournaments this year, don't miss the ManUp tournament because it is one of the most fun tournaments that I play in, and I'm playing in a lot of them now.
Yeah, you are.
We try our best, man. I did this with the kids when I coached, and plus I made the kids themselves do events for charity, and so they were taught right, and knowing that this stuff is not just given to us, and took that model and brought it to the church, and I think we bonded more as a group of brothers too from the church because he makes us get together more, and like you say, it's just a really good time.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that one thing that you say, okay, what could we do better? And it's invite women and make sure that women know that they're welcome to the golf.
We've had women from day one.
No, I know.
It's
but
just
not a huge amount.
It's never been announced,
right? So I convinced my wife when Ed came over for. I think you were dropping off some fancy foods that you got from Canada or something.
Oh, you're talking about the pea meal bacon. That's another story.
So, and I said to Crystal, I said, we're playing with Rich Thompson and Karen Ross, and that's 2 of her favorite people to hang out with of, all of my friend circle. And I said, why don't you come out of retirement? Because she can chip a little bit and she'll make a good. I mean, in a charity tournament, you only got to be good at one thing anyway, right? Or drinking. Could be your thing. It doesn't matter. But I think, I'm pretty confident based on her reaction that she's coming.
She's gonna be out again.
So you're gonna have at least 2 women already signed up because I know Karen's sponsoring.
Yes, she is.
And Crystal said.
And we got Comcast. Joni?
Yeah, well, Joan Bell is a colleague of mine.
Joan's great. She did the 100-hole challenge.
She is awesome. She's addicted. I'm telling you, there's not a day in the office where we don't spend some time talking about golf. So yeah, she definitely she has the bug, and
The good part about it too, you don't have to be a golfer. We got 3 or 4 foursomes. These guys, they don't golf, but they have the best time,
right?
And that's the way we, then we have our serious guys that go out there, and good part is we've had some Major League Baseball players out there, and we'll have again this year with some scouts, and
very cool.
Very, very great event. We're looking forward to it.
And then same website to sign up for the golf tournament. Ready, READY, the number 2, manup.com.
That's correct.
I'm already in, so I don't have to go to the website. But we'll put that, when we put the episode out, we'll put that out for our listeners.
We
strongly
suggest you get on there and do it because that's how you got to sign up this year. We're not
reserve your spot.
Reserve your spot, and it makes it easier for the whole tournament, so the course will know how many people, and so we could be prepared.
And then you don't have to waste time checking in when you're there and paying and whatever. You can just go right out to the range.
You saw the difference last year.
100. It went really, really smoothly at check-in. It was like, walk in, go sit in your golf cart, walk over to the
hit
putting
the
green,
balls, putt the
hit some
line.
balls, putt for the booze, and
and we'd be remiss not to mention Pembroke Lakes
please.
Golf and Tennis Club. We've been with them, and they've had us now for the last several years, and they just have a tremendous way of working with you and making you feel very comfortable. And it's a great venue. Trace Allison, who's the new pro there, has been very supportive of the ManUp tournament, and also we would really be doing a disservice if we did not mention Susan over at Club 19. Susan handles all of the catering, and she will handle our dinner. But I would strongly encourage anybody that's looking for a place for a wedding or a shower or a corporate event to see Susan and her team over at Club 19.
And the invoices
they are
in the
phenomenal.
mail to Pembroke Lakes already.
No, it's just.
I'm joking.
Again, I know people would think that is completely unsolicited, but again, they've just made it. They've just made it so easy.
100%. No, and I mean, I've not been involved in the planning of that many tournaments, maybe 3 or 4, and it makes a world of difference, the people that you're dealing with, because I did not have a good experience, and I will leave the golf course name out, but I did not have a good experience the first time I was involved in a golf tournament.
Anytime you have a major event, if it's a wedding, barbecue, birthday, or whatever, you worry up until the moment, is the food going to be good? We don't have that worry.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah. No, I mean, the food's, I think this is year 5 for me, and I haven't had a bad meal, and I've been to other events through you guys. Through you guys,
they're all good for charity, no matter what. If it's a hot dog or a hamburger, as long as it's going to charity. But like I said, we put a little mix and want to make sure that and I think that's why our numbers are the same. Well, every year with the people coming back.
Another thing that you guys do that I find to be really classy is you always have like one really awesome gift instead of a bunch of little cheap things going in a sling bag or a clear bag or something like that. You guys, I mean, the cooler, I use that cooler all the time. You see me with it at the golf course. I've taken it to the beach. That ManUp logo cooler is everywhere I go.
Yeah,
we try to change it up.
Yeah.
And, something we did at our second tournament that I did for the committee, some really nice hats that everybody's been asking for, and you're going to have a pro style professional hat on your head, and it's they've already had more requests for it, so we're going with that this year.
And it's something that people will use and wear, and they'll remember how much fun they had at the tournament.
That's correct.
And then someone will ask them when they're playing golf or at the beach or at an event, hey, what's that? Right? Yeah. What's that logo? That's a really awesome conference, but the golf tournament was super fun. Yeah. Right? And then maybe they'll play next year.
Yeah. So. And the other thing too is it takes a lot of people and their effort who aren't golfers to also make it happen. We have the women. A lot of our wives are part of the registration process, and they are there, and they're the first line of defense, if you will. The guys come in. The guys come in,
smiling. And it's a nice, welcoming place.
But besides that, their attention to detail is so much better than us. And
I have attention to detail.
Oh my God! And so they make sure that everybody gets what they are doing.
Correct, and leave it to them.
Exactly. So without the women that are there to be to help us, they are a vital part. And then you also have guys who are part of us at church that would not know a golf club from a nightclub, but what they are able to do is they're able to give of their talent, and that might be just in an ambassador role. Hey, your job is just to make sure that you're on a golf court, make sure you ride around and everybody's having a good time, and if somebody needs something, or if somebody looks like they may be not know where the next hole is, or not know where they're supposed to go after here, just make sure that they're taken care of and they're made to feel special. So those people are just as important to the overall success of the tournament as the people that are playing in it. And then you add to that, the folks who are sponsoring, who are providing, whether it be a gift or a handout or something, or it's just the people that talk it up. They talk it up at their place of work, or they get a tea sign or something. So again, all these ways are all vital to making the event be memorable.
That's why you let me hang
special.
Around you, because I talk it up, I guess. All
You
right,
talk it up, and
now I know.
You now see behind the curtain, Drew.
Now I see behind the curtain. Okay. Well, listen, I'm really looking forward to December 1st at Pembroke Lakes. Ready to man up, the number 2. That's how you sign up for it. We can send this to everybody that participated last year. We'll share it on all your social media, tag you, everything. And happy to help you guys with it. Happy to be on the committee this year. Go ahead, Mike.
You're more than welcome, brother. We're happy to have you. 12 o'clock start.
12 o'clock
dinner, 5:30 sharp.
Get there about 10:45. Good networking.
Golf balls, putting.
Hit some bright white golf balls, putting. The putting contest was fun last year. Hit a bottle, you win a bottle, right?
That's correct.
So.
And then the conference is February 16th and 17th.
Yep.
The ManUp men's conference, and
you guys changed the dates for me this year, didn't you?
Well, it's typically always
your dad's idea.
Smart man. He's smarter than me for sure.
Yeah. It kind of kicks off the season of Lent, which is a religious period of time leading up to Easter. So the idea was to always have it the first weekend of Lent, because it's just a great way to kind of start the season, and so that's the way it does rotate a little bit, because the Lenten season starts differently. But that is a Friday evening, generally about 6:30. Guys are working all day, so we start with a light supper that evening, and then there'll be an evening session, usually about 9 o'clock. We send everybody home, and then we come back the next morning about 8 o'clock, and we go till about 2 o'clock on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And it provides there's breakfast and lunch. Again, the best way to get the guys to be there is to feed them. So you get a lot of good food. You get a lot of good.
Woman came up with that.
We didn't make that up either.
One of your wives came up with just give them food, they'll show up.
Just best way to get through their stomach. So December 1st to golf. December 16th and 17th is the men's conference. February 16th and 17th, and all the information again is on the website. So
beautiful. Thanks, guys.
Can't thank you enough. This is outstanding that you took time to have us, and again, we're just so excited about these next few months coming up, because it's a big time. It's a big time for us.
All right. From
Thank
the
you.
OnPar podcast at Winners Award Group. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week with another episode.